First of all, I think your analysis was very straight-lined. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing fowls.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got
that. Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Tomorrow, Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
an
an erratic
Mickey
detective is Mickey Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? No, Gildarie, you deal with that. You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Gildarie, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that.
Hi, good evening. Welcome once again to the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show, wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing. I hope that you are fine, that you're taking care of yourself. It's always a pleasure coming to you, myself and my co-host Freddie Kissoon. It has been more than a year now. He says 13 months. So it seems like an eternity because so many things I've learned, but it's been a pleasure. Tonight, we want to get down to it very, very early. We cannot emphasize that as this country develops, how important it is that we continue the dialogues on the policies of the government, on our regulators, and everything that has to do with the control of what we have within this country. Tonight we have such a man in our midst who is one of the persons, a very important person when it comes to making policies for this country, but he oversees, anytime you're talking about infrastructure in this country and the building of such infrastructure plays a very, very critical role. I'm going to stop because I'm going to introduce my co-host Freddie Kissoon, no stranger to Guyana, and when I say introduce, it's always a pet something for me to say that I want to introduce Freddie Kissoon. I don't need to introduce him, but he has his own peculiar ways. Private joke between me and him, and he is who he is, and he has been so many years, decades around Guyana politics, playing a role, and he has his thoughts, and a lot of people have been following him. This particular program, I'm branching up a little, has been a learning experience for me because as I sit and I listen to the problems of the people and the concerns of the people and listen to the policymakers as we would have had them one after the other within this program, I realize that I cannot sit on the sideline and just say, let me be just another citizen. We have to continue in our own little ways to build this country, whether you speak up when you see something happening in your neighborhood, or you report it to the police, or you call out on your politician. You have to do something. Do not sit on the sidelines. I always say, do not sit on your hands. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Freddie Kissoon.
Hello there. Welcome to the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. We've completed 13 months. Now, in those 13 months, we've had several call-in programs, several. And without exception, every one of those call-in programs, without exception, callers have talked about roads, construction. There has been no call-in program. We've had specific topics, and people have diverted from the topics and have called in about bridges, roads, constructions, and we decided that, look, given this pattern of calls about construction, roads, bridges, we will have one of the ministers of public works who has graced our studios twice before. And we thought we should have him here for 1 hour and a half to answer your questions, because your questions have been unlimited in relation to the portfolio he holds. Our calls begin anytime now, and we'd like to advise you, please respect the status of our guest. He is a cabinet minister, and we will ask you to put your questions intellectually, grammatically shaped, observing protocol. Any attempt to be rude, we will cut you off, because this program protects and has to protect its guests. They are our guests, and we have to protect them. And if you're irritated about what has happened, call the minister, tell him where the irritation lies, tell him your feelings about some neglect of some construction thing, but be circumspect. All over the world, you have to be circumspect when you're speaking to people of certain positions. So the numbers are on the screen. Call in and let us know, as you've been telling us, as you've been letting Gildarie and I know the past 13 years about the problems of construction in this country. Minister DEODAT INDAR is here to answer your questions. 2 minor points before we hand over to the minister. I could never get this minister's name right. I grew up in a Hindu home, and he has 2 first names, DEODAT INDAR. And every time I speak about this minister, I confuses the 2 names because they're 2 first names. So when we were putting up the advertisement, I told the graphic artist, INDAR DEODAT. And the man said, no, it's DEODAT INDAR. And finally, I don't know if this is a stale joke, but I'm willing to face the consequences for it. Could Minister DEODAT INDAR recommend his tailor to Leonard Gildarie? Over to you, Minister INDAR.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Freddie, for those kind words, and to Gildarie for having me. I know it's about 8:30 plus tonight.
Yeah.
Actually going further than 8:30, right?
We're going to 10.
Okay. So I don't know who is up or who is not, but thank you for having us on the show. Before we go into the questions and the calls, when a country is under construction, and Guyana is under construction, there are certain inconveniences that happen naturally by the advent of development. New roads are going different place, new bridges are going in different place, you have widening taking place, you have new housing schemes, you have everything. So the movement of utilities, movement of shoulders, reserves to accommodate the widening and so on, those things do happen when you're building housing schemes. Most of them are built in new development areas, so you have to traverse from the main highway through communities, going to those new areas to develop them. Most of these things, they destroy community roads because some of the trucks are, large. The carrying capacity is also too heavy for the weight bearing of the road that it was built for, especially those community roads. So you do have problems with those. So, there's a general thing that, when you have a country that is developing, and we are developing in every sector, construction in all of the different areas is happening, whether it's, in the public side or the private side, you have them going on. So you do have, the kind of disruptions sometimes, but, it comes with when you develop it.
If you're looking at the program now, the minister has a pen and paper. This is your time now to tell the minister about the particular problem you have in your area. Remember, ministers don't know everything that is happening. Please be specific, and he has guaranteed us that he will write it down and take action. So this is your glorious, great, priceless opportunity to get something done, corrected where you live. 3 times a gentleman said to us, there is a road in Horstellin that is not done, and when it's raining, people have to walk through mud. You have an opportunity now to call the minister. The calls are coming in now.
Okay, well, a couple of things before we head straight into the call. A lot of calls coming in. The minister is in charge of GPL. He's in charge of roads and bridges. And so let's try to center the questions around that. I mean, a lot of people have asked us that they want to talk to somebody in authority. We have accommodated, and we know that the minister is very busy, like so many of the cabinet ministers. He is here to listen to those. Let's make it very short and snappy so the minister could take note of it, and then we move on because we want to try to accommodate everybody. 1.5 hours. Let's go right into it. So, good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to bring to the minister's attention there's a road, a community road in Triumph, north of the public road, an area called Plot P. And that road has been unfixed for decades. I know there's a responsibility of the local authority, and I know that the local authority has not been able to do anything. However, the Honorable Minister of Public Works has promised to have that road fixed sometime during this year, and I hope that will be done.
Call the name of the street again in Triumph. I don't think the minister...
Ashrat Street.
What?
Ashrat Street.
Ashrat Street.
Ashrat Street. North of the public road is north of the government compound. North and northeast.
Hazrat.
Ashrat. D-A-S-R-A-T-H.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing I want to bring to the minister's attention, observation. With the expansion of government's infrastructure programs, the quantum of engineers appears, the capacity in terms of delivering and supervising government's programs seems to be over there. The work would seem to be overstretched, and obviously it may end up having that people are overworked, overstretching, and you lose in terms of the quality, which means then that you'll get some 6 or 9 either by difference or by people not being able to do anything. That is number one. Number two, in community roads, the roads I know the minister mentioned, okay, you have the shoulders, the roads are narrow. True. However, we are finding that they are double roads, they are double traffic going on those roads. And it means that the shoulder of the roads will go soon.
So you talk about the narrowness of the road and those areas in community areas especially.
Right. So it will be in the interest of the government as well as the local authority to have the local authority designate those roads as one-way streets, so that the shoulders are not damaged. There's only one-way traffic would go. When two-way traffic goes, the traffic would have to go and damage the shoulder of the roads.
Thank you very much for that, caller.
Could I answer him there?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so right now the ministry is looking at a number of roads on the East Bank and West, on the East Coast, on the East Bank, on the East Coast. He's gone?
Yeah. Yes, well, go ahead.
Yeah, on the East Coast corridor. So we're picking up a number of roads. Actually, the exercise is currently ongoing. So the Ashrat Street in North Triumph, I'm going to make sure that I take a visit to the area too, to look into that. With respect to the engineers and so on, he does have a point, because when we came into government, the entire public works had about 300 roads for the entire year. We have built 2,500 roads and counting, community roads and counting. Right now,
over that 3 years?
Oh, in 3 years.
Wow.
2,500 and counting. And this year, we are in August, more roads are being advertised right now. We have about 70 being advertised. We have another couple hundred more that is going to come out over the next within the next month and a half. Community roads, because as you could see, the vice president and the president normally goes out to communities too. You was just talking about that, Freddie, before the program start. So we do have the ongoing process of picking up roads in communities. So as the guy said, it's decades that the road has not been done, so we'll look into it. But the engineers too, because we have so much of roads doing, and they're using the same resources that you would have used to carry out 300 roads, you have to ramp up that. But the problem in the country with engineers and clerk of works and so is that there's a shortage because most of them are picking up work in the private sector, the oil and gas industry. So you have, and they get MOP as well too. So you have a problem with that. But we have to continue to train people, continue to, make sure the university put out people, technical vocation schools and so to put out people so you can get the clerk of works, you can get the engineers and continue. It's a never-ending cycle of training people to become, an engineer in the field and getting them to do the work. But obviously if people feel that they're getting salary elsewhere, they can go on. On the issues of the shoulder, before you take another call, this is an issue that you pick up everywhere in the country. Why is the road so narrow? But when you look at the schematics of the communities and so on, normally is 8 feet, 10 feet max, maybe in some cases you find the road broader than 10 to 14 feet. And then you have a drain on one side and a drain on the other side. And before the drain, you have a utility pole on one side. And under the road on the other side, you have the GWI utility running. So if you extend the road, you have to remove the utility, which is a heavy cost. Then if you remove you extend on the right-hand side or wherever the GWI utility is running, if you put hard surface over the pipe and heavy weight goes on it, it cracks and it cracks, the pipe starts to leak at the bottom. It will create a sag at the bottom, and when the weight go on it, it will break it. And then you think that the road wasn't built properly. But it's because of the water that is leaking. Now when you got to go repair that too, you got to dig up back the road and so on and go repair it. So you just don't have the space for the land in a lot of the cases to extend the road. The only suggestion is that you concrete the drain and then you extend the road, and that brings another set of costs with it. Concrete drains are very expensive too. So you have to, so persons will say, well, concrete the drain and do the road, but then you also have people with paved roads, and you have a whole lot of communities who, like this gentleman who haven't seen a paved road in a while here. So you try your best to make sure that everybody have a paved road, and then you go into the phase of where you're doing the drains.
Thank you very much. So we take this other call. Caller, my apologies. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Gildarie. Good evening, Mr. Kissoon. And good evening, Honorable Minister.
Hi, good evening.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're hearing you clearly. Yeah.
All right. Great. So I'm calling from Dazel Housing Scheme. I must compliment you on the work that is being done. Only yesterday, I'm seeing that a bridge that is bridging Dazel Scheme and BIT, right, is being constructed, something that we have never seen before, right? And we must compliment you on that. And I must say this is not a race thing, but this is predominantly African areas, right? Both Beirut and Dazel Scheme. But I'm from Dazel Scheme, and I know the government can do everything for everybody at one time. But all we're asking for is, even if it's a little patch, we have relatively good road. The major road is relatively good, but we have some huge potholes between 6th Street and 4th Street. We're not asking for the government to pave the entire road. Even if we get some full up, some black up, some patch up, we will be grateful. All right, that's in Dazel Housing Scheme.
What's your name, sir?
Garnett. Amiel Garnett.
Garnett, many moons ago, I was in Beirut, and I met with the people of Beirut. And when I came out, we had a road program in Beirut, about $320 million worth, about 6 separate roads in Beirut. Some are being constructed right now, right? So we did, when we go into the community, we made the commitment. We do follow up on that. So Beirut, especially the main road going into Beirut, they had some issues with the utility and we straighten some of those, and so more work needs to be done. I will, as soon as time permits, I will come back into the community to see what's going on in the Dazzle housing scheme, to see what needs to be done there. Obviously, the demands on government, the demands on the on infrastructure in communities is a lot. Because everywhere you go, when we came into government in 2020, we went to the country everywhere, and what we found are dilapidated housing schemes, dilapidated communities, and so on. The roads that are broken up, because when people build and they move the trucks and the heavy thing through to break up the road. Now we started building them back with a rapid rate. So when you go into the communities, everybody have a demand. So as much as I can, go to the communities as humanly possible, I try to. So I definitely will take a spin in Beirut to see what's going on there. But I know that through a tripartite arrangement between the Ministry of Local Government, Public Works and Housing, we have about $320 million in projects in Beirut following that visit.
Yeah, yes, Minister, but I'm not from Beirut.
I know, I heard you. You're from Dazzle Houses. Okay. I heard you. I said to you that I went in Beirut. So when the time permits, I'll come to Dazzle Houses. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening to you, Leonard.
Good evening.
And to your partner, Mr. Kissoon and Mr. DEODAT. I am calling concerning these roads in Parfait Harmony. After 18 years, we now seeing some grading stuff. They talk of getting the road fixed in Parfait. But what happened, I noticed that the roads are getting more narrow than wide. And when you try to talk to the contractor and talk about the work they're doing, they are more annoyed more than you, the residents. That is one. Two, I called Minister INDAR. Like some of these problems, you were very aggressive towards me on the phone. That wouldn't be a group of us, because I had the phone of people here and calling him.
What's your name? What's your name?
Mike Jandu. Sorry, you know me very well.
Mike Jandu?
Yes.
And where is the road that you're talking? Parfait Harmony is one of the biggest schemes in the country. So which is the particular road?
I'm talking the road that you and I walked when you were in here, when you called me on the outreach. We walked this area. One of the roads that behind this building.
Sir, can you give me a name of the road? Where?
Yeah, where's the name of the road?
Have name, Chief. These roads don't have names in here.
Where is it located again?
This is behind the private school, the Westminster Whitechap area.
But is it 16th Street, 17th Street? And I think they had some names to them.
Westminster Private?
I'm here for 18 years, and we have to wait 18 years before we get a road grade. 18 years.
Sir, listen. Listen.
All right, Michael, let me try to solve the situation. Where's the road?
Listen to me. So Parfait Harmony has seen one of the biggest spending for housing schemes in the country. Right? Only recently we awarded 65 roads there. We have done another 33 before that, and another 40 before that. So right now they are all over Parfait Harmony. Their work's been happening. So if you're calling about one particular road, I understand what you're saying, but there's a massive scheme, and you would know that. The road in front of the Westminster Primary School, you say?
No, the private, not primary, the private school.
A private school
was the one that we visited earlier.
Yeah, what's the name of the private school, sir? What's the name?
The New Era private school is very combination of the new road.
New Era private school.
So New Era private school. I'll look at it, but you would know, and you have to be truthful to yourself. Because I can if I had the chance, I'll put up a map on the screen to show the amount of roads that our government is doing in Parfait. And not Parfait Harmony, Westminster, Dorsey, Lost in Russ, all of we are doing roads everywhere in there. The main roads we are doing as well too, so roads are being done. But you got to also understand, and I know people are frustrated, and that is why I said earlier, when a person is living in a community and their road are not doing and the one up the street is doing, naturally it upsets them. But everywhere you go, so if we do like 120 roads in Parfait Harmony in the housing scheme, Parfait, Westminster, Lost in Ross, Dorsey, and so on, right? You're doing roads in there. But they have horse stealing. They have farm. If you go to farm now, you'll see what was happening in farm. So those people, those residents too deserve roads too. So you can't put all the money in one place. But
No, Minister,
I'll definitely
when you visit Park Harmony, I walk this whole community with you, but I didn't walk where I'm living to show you my road. We look at the health center, we look at the school roads and all the roads.
All right,
so here,
more important than my road.
Well, good.
What I'm saying is now that they are doing where I'm living, the one that should get more fine. Two, the work is not, and I wish if you could come through, walk with me again, and you will see the quality of work these contractors are doing.
Well, look into that. We'll look into that.
No, this is wrong. I don't think I have to get a PhD or something to tell them about rules. You've seen the work.
So what do you want, Mike? What do you want?
What I want, if you come and I said, if the minister walk with me, you will see what.
No, I'm not going to walk with you. No, I'm not going to walk with you, Mike. Mike, I'm not going to walk with you. I'll make sure that I take my engineers and I'll go with my engineers and I'll check this road. I'm not going to walk with you, and I have my reasons why I will not do that. I think I know who I'm talking to now. But here, sir. I got the complaint. I'll have my engineers go and check it out, and I will go myself because I drive through those communities in the nights. When people sleep in, that is when I drive through those communities and I check what roads are.
How we the residents were able to raise these issues with you?
You're raising it with me now, sir. You're raising it with me now, and I will go and check and see it. I will check the bill of quantity, the width of the road. We'll go measure the road. We'll check and see exactly what's happening. Right, Mike?
Okay.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening, Leonard. Good evening, Freddie. Good evening, Minister.
Go right.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, all right. What can I say? Minister, I have to tell you that I'm very, very, very impressed with the work that you have been doing.
Thank you.
I want to be a little bit critical here, though. As a Guyanese living in the US, I don't know if I can use this word. The unfortunate thing is that the coalition has performed so badly. It means that the present government, which I support, I'm a part of the PPP, does not have to perform too much to make the coalition look so bad. However, I'm asking, I'm begging that you guys don't use that as a yardstick to underperform.
So that is the issue, sir?
Yes, that's my contribution, Minister. That's my contribution, Minister, and Freddie and Gildarie.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Again, I'll reiterate my position. The coalition has performed so badly. I do not want the PPP to use that as a yardstick.
So it's an advice.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
It's a political comment. Let's move on.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on.
Right. Good evening, caller. Yes, go right ahead. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Gildarie and Mr. Minister.
Hello.
I'm sitting here listening to you guys. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, you go ahead. We listened very clearly.
Right. I'm listening to you guys and the minister talking on the song. The minister talking about the narrow roads. The people talking about the narrow roads, right? And you can't do this and you can't do that. It don't make no sense what you guys are saying, what the minister is saying. Because when two cars try to pass on the road, are you there?
Yes,
we listen.
Go ahead, sir. We hear.
When you build a new road in less than a month, I live in Diamond, in Grove Diamond Houses team, and I'm seeing it every day. You build a road, and then a week later, the cars got to drive on the parapet, and the road is breaking up.
No, you didn't listen to what the minister said. The minister said it is impossible. It is going to be difficult to have the road at certain width because of the infrastructure, the cost of the utility poles
and trenches on both sides.
You're talking about the quality of the roadway, which is two different issues.
Right, I understand what you're saying there, but the minister's saying if you put concrete drain, it's going to cost money. If you don't put concrete drain, it's going to cost money to rebuild the road. That's bottom line.
Can I answer him now?
Sure, please go ahead.
Sir, I do understand your frustration, and your frustration is not isolated. everywhere in this country that we go, you hear the same thing. Everybody wants wide roads so that both cars can pass. But whilst one community and one set of residents are asking for wide roads, there are those who never see a road built in 20 years. There are kids. Sir, hold on. Let me talk now, please. You had the time to say. You have communities that you go that children are walking in mud. What do? Do I broaden a road, put in concrete drains to satisfy persons driving on 2-lane, or do I take the money and I go into the communities and make concrete roads for the children that walk in on mud? If you go to Canal number 2, the kids them that live in the riverine community, they take the boat, they come to a landing, they have to walk from the landing to the road in mud before they go to school. Don't you think that we could go and concrete the place and help those kids out? So I understand the frustration about persons got to drive on the corner. We see it all the time. But it's not just about the roads too. Drivers too, sometimes they drive big trucks, they park them on the road. So if they park them on the road, the other person have to take the parapet, and that breaks the road. And this is not your community diamond alone. Everywhere you go in the country, that is where you find. If there's a place where you have areas that you can widen the road normally is widened. So I do hear your frustration, but so I'm telling you, in Diamond, the utilities are on one side of the road, and the utility, the public utility in terms of the electricity is on one side, and on the other side, they have the GWI running underneath.
I think 6th Avenue Diamond is a classical example of that.
We had to widen 6th Avenue Diamond and 7th Avenue Diamond to accommodate that. You see, we had to broaden the road and put the concrete thing in it. But it's not a cost, it's not a cheap venture. Is a very expensive venture. So when you do in one community, you can't do in the others.
I think what you're trying to say, Minister, is that there's going to be limited resources that you can't.
We don't have a never-ending purse. We have to work with what we have.
One of the callers said, if these streets are so narrow, why not make them one way? I mean,
that's a good idea, but it also have traffic management to that too. What we have done in some cases, like in Independence Street in Lagrange, they had the issue where the utilities on one side, which is on the left side when you're going in Independence Street, you have the power lines on the left and you have the water on the right. The last time I went there were 13 breaks in the pipe because of the very thing. We make some slips, so that when a car is coming, one can slip in while he passes and then come out and go. So where you have the accommodation to make these slips in the roads, you can make them so that one can come in while the other one passes and one can come in. But when you got the utilities too, you have a problem there too because they have 13 breaks in the pipe.
Yeah, quickly, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quickly, sir. Quickly. Yeah.
Mr. Minister, I live in Grove Diamond Housing Scheme, right behind the primary school, right in that area there, and the roads is very wide. They have the space to build the roads at least 2 feet, so 2 cars could pass without driving on the parapet. I got a lawn that I spend a lot of money on, and it don't make no sense. People driving on my lawn. The only thing left me to do is put bricks and chain around it, and I don't want to do that.
Wait, you mean the lawn is the parapet in front of you?
Yeah.
Yes. They're driving up on the thing, and you have the space to build the road, but they're not building the roads more than...
I think I explained myself to you, sir.
You see, there's one other thing. I think what is coming out very clear is that what the minister is saying against people's expectation and what is available in the budget. And when you have 300 villages in Guyana, which one do you give them and how do you spend those resources?
It's a question of priority.
We got to be realistic about it too. I am about to complain to the minister about 7th Avenue and Diamond, but I realize so that the country is short of contractors and so on.
I go through that every day, I know it, but there's some roads that you could make them a little wider.
Yep. A minister has taken note of that, and I'm going to be making sure I sit on him on that too. But thank you very much for that, Carlo.
I'll say one more thing.
Quickly, sir, quickly.
Grove Diamond Primary. The school from the Forest Bridge to the school, you need to send, you need to get that road looked after. Because when the kids got to go to school, the kids got to walk in mud. 2 cars can't pass on that road.
There's a market road.
No, not the, yes, the Market Road.
Thank you very much. I'm familiar with it. Thank you for coming through.
Okay, good.
That road is a terrible street.
Very familiar with it. Thank you. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good night, guys. Let me compliment you guys on this very good, what you are doing here, having the minister and having a call-in program. That's very good. My concern is from Region 6, up the quarantine at Wim Village.
Wim Village, yes. I passed there yesterday.
Yeah. The ministry did a great, first time in history I ever seen a whole scheme or a whole village. All the street has been done. From the public road right down to the water side. On both sides, all the street has been done. Some of them probably will be fine because of the necessary of the utility poles. That is not the issue. There is the 7th street on the water side over. There is a wooden bridge there. All the rest of the streets, whoever did it, they did culverts, nice tube and culvert and whatever. That is the only street the wooden bridge has been remained there, right? You get there now. Presently, you guys are doing the silent dam. It's turning into a nice pitch road. And if you decide to, you can drive over now from the silent dam to all the street except the 7th street.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So in WIM, last year when the vice president led a team to Borbisa, I was part of his team, and I went to WIM, and I went to see all of the streets in WIM, and we did all of them. Our government did, the PPP government did all the streets in WIM. Right, I know of it, but the back of WIM further down, they've got a little more work to get done. But you must understand, if you go to Region 6 and you go to Fort Ordnance, they got some places there, the same thing was explained to the person earlier. They got some places there that got bad roads. If you go to Chesney, you'll find some of them, you got bad roads there. If you go to Bath, so they have other areas that need help too. So we got to make sure that we move around the resource so every community can feel government services coming to them and infrastructure coming to them. So
just a minute, Minister. I am not complaining about the government.
No, I heard you. I heard what you said about the thing, but I'm just telling you about the 7th Street Bridge. Yeah. So we are doing a lot of bridges, and so we are moving out the wooden bridges into what we call concrete bridges and steel bridges where we can put them. So that is what we are doing. But we want to make sure that we do the bridges and the roads towards a school, health center, public buildings, like where we have a lot of traffic, children, sick people and so on. Those are the priority areas that we look to build first. But WIM, I think WIM is completely built out.
That's why I'm saying I find it odd because this whole scheme is completely built out, but that wooden bridge is still there. I find it odd. I don't know if this is on behalf of the contractor side. I don't think it's on the government side because I find it odd that all the streets have been pokered and culvert. And this specific one has left. I don't think.
I'm gonna look at it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming through, caller. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Bye-bye. Good evening, caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Please lower the volume of what you're listening to so we could hear you clearly.
Am I on with the Freddie Kissoon show?
Yes, you are. Raise the issue. We're talking roads, bridges. GPL.
All right, good. I would like to, my picture on it is that simply simple. The government is doing a lot of work with respect to infrastructure for the past 3 years. And those who are complaining in not having road here or not having road there, they're instead of our silly bitches, start with that word.
No, Saul. Don't let us.
All right. You take that back. Go on. I understand.
Some of them encompass government resolve, and they want a big road, and they don't want to take over the government resolve, and they want cake and they want bake.
All right, so you're urging people to be a little patient.
When the opposition was in power, nobody said about the road, nobody crying but bridges, nobody crying but culverts. But now this government
They're trying to help each and everybody, and then there's a big balloon.
All right. So you're saying that people should be a little patient.
Job, and I must say the government is also doing a lot of job to help the Guyanese people. The Guyanese people are helping, which is very good on behalf of this government and helping the nation and people of Guyana. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All right. The calls are coming in swift. Good evening, caller. All right, he missed that. Roads, bridges, GPL. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Comrade Minister.
Hey.
Two things. Can you please give an update on what's going on with the Del Monte Road between Perique and Goshen, and also what is happening to the sand extraction around number 58 village in Region 6 currently?
Okay, so on the Del Conte Road, the alignment has been cut, and that project is still on our priority, is a manifesto promise, so our government continues to look to the Del Conte Road. With respect to the sand extraction at number 58 village, there's an issue there with a couple of contractors and the NDC that a team went up there to look at what's going on with the removal of sand in an area, that the persons who are removing the sand claim that that is their land. So government got involved and went up there. Officials from the Ministry of Housing, the NDC, the region in Region 6, as well as the Ministry of Public Works, they went up there. Myself, Minister Ashley, and the Vice President also took a trip there the previous Saturday. So we continue to monitor this because we just built a road at 58. We just built a brand new farm to market road at 58 under the Ministry of Public Works, so that thousands of acres of land can be opened up and people can move their produce out and can able to farm the area. So it's something that is ongoing, but we have cautioned people to if they go too close to the road, they will undermine the road because they can't dig the sand from close to the road.
Yes, right? There got to be rules of engagement. May I say that I find that you have a lot of cojones to be coming on a show like this and open. And I don't know of any other minister who have done this. So thank you very much. Go right ahead, caller.
Mr. Kissoon show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Kissoon show. Go right ahead.
I'm calling to complain about a road project that was happening in my village. I'm calling from Region 7.
Region 7, yes.
Carrow. So this project would have just complete like 3 months ago, but the road already breaking up. A lot of potholes.
What's the name of the road in Carrow? I know the village, but do you have any name I could identify it by?
No, it's the entire internal road. The project was to do internal road in the village. It's at one main public road.
Okay, so I was 2 weeks ago. I was in Bartica, and in the periphery of Bartica too, up to the 4 Mile Road as well, in by the Rabo and all the other places. I went and checked out the entire area on the instructions of the Vice President. I was supposed to go to Corral, but the time didn't permit.
Is that the ministry's project, or is that
it's
most like a region?
It's something from the region, but I will have my colleagues look into this one here to see what's going on with the Corral Road.
So folks, the projects that is done at the local government level.
Just leave it as we are one government. So I will talk to my colleague to look into it. Thank you.
Good evening, caller. All right, 231-2982, or you could call 637-1071. You have Minister DEODAT INDAR, Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, and he's talking about roads, bridges, and GPL. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Gildarie, to you and the Minister, Mr. Freddie.
Good evening.
This is the guy with the car from Horse telling the concerning road.
Yes, you called yes again.
They finally come and did the road, right? I just want to say thanks to the government. But the next thing I got,
which road are you talking about in Australia?
Yeah, the homeless scheme, Third Bridge. But the road done. They come and fix it eventually after 10 years.
Freddie Kissoon had anything to do with that?
He's
a politician then.
Thank him for that. Because he makes a lot of...
Still jokes, sir. Go on.
Yeah, the Moko main road, right? I'm living right there. I'm watching the road right now. The road is in a terrible state, and I don't see anybody coming and patch up those holes and some big hole on the main road. When I drive this road every day, like if you're coming out from the double road, and you're turning to come to go to Moko, you're coming to the public road, the turn is terrible. They have all the road block up there. Nobody is not doing anything with them hole there.
All right, so there's something to look into, but like repairs and maintenance of the highways and the main accessways, and so it's done by our ministry's force account unit or the special projects unit in the Ministry of Public Works. So for the past couple of weeks, they've been doing, they actually put 1,500 tons of asphalt from the airport coming straight down.
Yeah, I must say it's a little bit
for that,
right.
for that the entire area there.
Big truck coming through, you got to pull in the grass before
So I know about the big truck. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it on the program, but I know of the big trucks them that moving through Mucker Road. So we're gonna look into it, but the unit that does this work is on the East Coast doing some work in some communities that that need it badly.
Somebody patch up coming from the police station and then gone back the same way, then little party station in front of Junior Sammy places, somebody patch it and then gone back the same way again. I live right there, drive this road every day, every single day.
All right, we got you. I'm familiar. I drive through the road every day.
Thank you, Mr. Freddie.
Thank you. Bye. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good night, Minister. I know you guys, you and the vice president was up here 2 Saturdays ago in Region 6, and you guys were registering for the small business grant, right? Could you shed some light for the Region 6 people? I don't think they're fully educated about it. Please?
Well, the small business grant was done in conjunction with the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry and Commerce. So that program was done through those ministries. So I don't want to comment on that here because it's not my...
But the criteria to...
Yeah, but as I said to you, sir, that is not something under my ministry.
We got to bring the relevant person, maybe
so
the minister.
I'll definitely, I'll get your number and I'll maybe get somebody to call you and explain to you, right?
Yeah, so, you can get it right here from Gildarie.
Yes, I guess.
Thank you very much for coming through, Ricardo.
Well, get a guy number there.
Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller. I think we lost that one. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening. Good evening to the minister.
Good evening,
Freddie and Gildarie. You guys hear me there?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. So this is caller I think last week on the show from Supernap to the street lights. Now, I just want to make a quick something here, asking minister. When these street lights, or I would say the road light, the main road light, down in Essequibo, it will be weak sometimes, different villages. I think, it's just my opinion, I don't know, maybe the minister can shed some light on this. We have lots of contractors here. I think it's by right that at least somebody from Essequibo will be given that contract, so whenever those lights are down, within a week, within a couple of days, it can get fixed because it prevents a lot of road accidents, road users, women who are driving motorcycles. I think that's a big issue here. I don't know if to respond to that. Thank you.
Well, first of all, you can't get me in trouble, sir, because we can't give the contract, right? You had to bid for the stuff, right? Yeah, but there is some wisdom in having persons from the region do the work.
Yeah,
right?
I like that idea.
But they gotta make sure that the person got a bid too, right? So whenever the thing is out, you got a bid too, right? But I do hear the complaint, and from time to time, our team go up there and try to get, the lights fixed. Is a constant thing with them because, when you get outages and so some of the fuse blow, it knock out an entire 2-3 village, so these are the things, the mobilization and response time to it. Sometimes, it might need a little improvement, but I do think there's some wisdom in what you say that people from the region should be given some opportunity, but persons have to bid too and have to bid competitive too, right? So that is the issue with that too. You got to make sure you bid and you bid competitive. So whoever is interested in doing it, if it includes you too, you got to make sure that whenever the tender is out, you look for it and make sure you know.
Of course. Well, that's why I called to a minister who knows what I don't want to say.
Okay.
Anyway, second question to you. Bartica community from Forest Ave, because I'm a businessman, there's Forest Ave to 1st to 7th Avenue, 1st to 9th Street. That is not even bigger than a community in Essex. Some communities as Essex or in Essex. I think I'm speaking on behalf of them because I go there and I drive a lot there. I take my vehicle there also. I think the government is doing something good for Bartica and all those roads that are surrounding the Bartica community, and not just by the Rabo and wherever. I'm talking about where the busy zone.
Yeah, so the internal, so on First Avenue, I actually walk First Avenue with the elected mayor, deputy mayor, the REO, and my engineers, the people from the ground in Bartica. We walk all the streets and all the avenue in Bartica proper. Forest Avenue is one of them that we walk. There is a number of things that we have to do there. I know there's parts of the road are breaking up. The shoulders is slipping too, so work will be done there. And some of the internal roads, and so there are some failures, and because the roads are narrow there, the trucks move and they break the side of the road. There are some failed culverts there. We've done a complete assessment of the place, the drainage, the roads, the cocas, Mount Ripper Creek, and the other ones that I told about in Dark Point, and then 1 to 4 miles, and then by the Rabo area too. But there are some other works that will be done there. Shortly, you'll see those works being fleshed out, right?
And one other question I know quick before it's due, Minister. There's CPL coming out. There's cricket tomorrow, I think. When the CPL comes out, Eskimos are being disenfranchised or somewhat. Can we have, with a recommendation maybe from you or 2 Minister, that maybe a ferry on those days? Because all the hotels are booked up.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a
it's a fair.
Understand now? That's a reasonable request. That's a reasonable request. Region 4 dominate this country. That's a reasonable request.
So I would like to recommend that on the sporting events, like when you have the Building Expo, when you have CPL, when you have major events, that we can have a ferry, because most of those hotels are booked up in town. Right, so I'd like to hear your response on that. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's something definitely to look into. It's not an unreasonable request.
It's just a question of time. CPL starts this month.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, I'd like to draw the Minister's attention, please, to the roads at Buxton and Annandale on both sides, the north and south side. The south side doesn't seem so bad. You could probably wait in the priority of things, but the north side is in bad shape.
This is in Annandale, ma'am?
Yes, Annandale, Buxton.
Okay, so...
By the water tank, there's a big tank.
Okay, so right now, there are a number of roads, I think, maybe too close to maybe $500 to $600 million worth of contracts in Annandale North and South. Those roads were approved, and they are supposed to start. I think only 3 of them out of the lot started, but I've had some talk with the contractors. They were supposed to start those roads in Annandale North and South. Right now, there are a number of roads in Buxton North out of tender. A lot of them out of tender in the Industry Plaisance, Buxton, in those areas, in the north side. They're out of tender right now, so those will also get reconstructed. The ones that are already contracted for Annandale, north and south, because the president went there on 2 outreaches, and he made the commitments for those roads. So they actually already awarded, and the contractors really have to push a little more to get them fixed. Because I went to those areas too, and I saw the roads, and I saw them with the president. So, and the AG Anil Nandalal was with us as well too.
He's from there. He's from
there. So we were in the community. Sorry about the delay in it, but those will. In fact, before the end of the week, I'll try and take a walk up in Annandale and see what's going on.
Okay, very good. I appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Road, bridges, GPL. How strange enough that nobody complained about GPL today, man, with roads and bridges.
His portfolio were taking lights and those things too.
Lights and so on. Let's see. There's an overseas.
Good
evening, caller.
Reconstruction of the seawall.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to ask the minister. There were the Enterprise recently, and the vice president made some promises. I wonder if he can update us on that.
Okay, so right now there are 4 teams of construction, equipment and personnel in enterprise. In enterprise, let me just give me 1 minute. I'll give you some specifics. So we have done, out of the 10 roads that we've identified that to be completed in enterprise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are completed. About 1,300 tons of asphalt have been placed on about 3.4 kilometers of road. There are a couple more to get done. There are a couple of culverts at the back, and at the front road, they have to get some revetment because the road shoulder is slipping into the trench between Enterprise and Enterprise Garden, if you know the place well. So there are some immediate intervention. There's the road now between that is linking Enterprise, the front street that the trucks broke up. That went out to tender. The tender is closed. The evaluation is finished. So we'll have to do that road. As soon as it's awarded, we have to do that, and that will be a concrete road. So a lot has been done from the time the Vice President and myself went to Enterprise to this morning, because something I check on every day.
Just in case, before the next caller comes, the minister also deals with other things apart from roads, bridges, and GPL. Lights, seawall, the re-architecturing of the seawall by the bandstand. So there are other things you can call in on. The seawall road is looking, the seawall by the bandstand is looking fantastic.
I don't know the minister remember Alam Road. You got a remarkable memory. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again to you, gentlemen. Minister, I called earlier. I'd like to just raise a quick point here, Dr. Minister. What I've noticed over the past years is that there was a lot of number of turns coming in the Puerto Supernam service. I'm also speedboat owners here. I'm one of 2 vessels. And what I noticed is that Bartica had some, Radio Hoop had probably a couple, but Radio Hoop has the majority flow of passengers. And I don't know why everything that is happening now, I'm not saying that the government should not give turns, but we would have had over the last year probably close to 60 turns, and that's affecting the whole surface. Also,
where is that? No. Where is that turns affecting service?
Purica to Supernam.
Sorry, you got to be honest. Please,
we have like no.
Please remember that I also check the traffic between Purica and Supernam.
Let me just make a point, and then you can respond. Let me before I make what I'm going to say. So, if you look at the traffic, most of the people are going on the big boats. Somebody come with 4 or 5 or 6 persons traveling. If 6 persons coming, that's $9,000. But if they go on the big boat, they're 6 by 380. That's what 6, 4, 400. They're gonna go with the big boat because the ferries are fast. They're just an hour and a half going across. Now, what I'm trying to say is that Radio Hoop has a more traffic than Purica to.
You see, let me. I know where you're going with this.
No, but I just want to make one point before.
No. Hold. Let me answer your question. You're going on, and you're trying to say things here that I am telling you clearly is not a reflection of what's on the ground. The Purica Supernam, they have the torrent system there. Some people did get turns into it because the files are thick like this at Marad with the amount of people that want to get turned. But the traffic has increased tremendously because I monitor the traffic from the monitors that Marad place at Supernam. So please, I don't think you should mislead anybody because you certainly can't mislead me on this one. The other thing is, hold on, let me finish. The other thing is if read the new people them. The new people that work the speedboat, they just met with us up only this morning. And they met with us before when they strike. And there are 2 people that got turns into Vridino. And they complain too, because nobody wants to see the pool of speedboat operators, water taxi, or however you want to call it, increase because they think that they're losing out. But the traffic in both sides has gone up. The economic activity in Region 2 has skyrocketed that we might have to put us another ferry. The president only mentioned that yesterday when he went to Mashabo. then we might put another ferry. So please don't say that, you all are suffering because of it. Because I can call you tomorrow and I can go down to Marad and I can show you the amount of the boats them that are doing how many trips now as it was before. And I'm telling you, it's a significant increase.
All right, but you can't. I think they would have to contact you. Are we gonna?
No.
One thing more before minutes to go. One thing more. Also, what affects us is what we call the lash boat. The lash boat, they're not allowed to carry sailors, so they are up and down, and torrents are still license are still being offered them, and
No, man, no. Please don't do that. Don't do that. License are not offered to no hunt boat. That's why they call them hunt boat, because they decide and they get whatever business that they could get. Please don't do that. Please, sir. I am a guy that.
All right, thank you for coming up, Carly. I had 2 shots at it. Thank you. Good evening, Carlo.
Good evening. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Go right ahead.
I would like to ask good night to the minister and Mr. Gildarie and Mr. Freddie Kissoon.
Yes.
I'm posing a question to the minister, and I would like to ask, how do the government get private land to make roads? Haven't the government acquired these lands?
Which particular area you're talking about?
I'm talking throughout the country, how the government gets access to build roads, like hectares and this is not private land?
No, most of the roads that are built are based on existing roads. Unless if you have a new housing scheme that you build roads on, or if you have a new highway that you're passing through.
Okay. Well,
so most of the times, we build over existing dilapidated infrastructure. If there's a highway that going into a greenfield place where there's a new highway and it goes through private lands, obviously our government will have to talk to those private owners to see alternative lands or remuneration for their land or whatnot. But it's not an everyday thing that you'll find that. Most of the roads that we're doing are existing infrastructure that has gone bad.
What is the question,
What's
sir?
the
What is the
question or what's the
question?
specific thing? Please don't be general.
I'm in a situation, and I'm kindly asking the government to come at Woodley Park and intervene into my affairs and see what is going on with me. I have a business. I have workers working. People lock me down. I have nowhere to pass, sir. I have family. I'm a very poor man. I come from nothing. And today I am.
What is the point?
There's a guy that says he has a business.
So I will get your number from
he calls often.
And I will certainly tomorrow I'll check in to see what's going on in Woodley Park where those construction is going on there.
So I'm living in the cultivation.
Where?
I passed the area for 15 years and the people.
Yeah, you called several times, and I'm glad that the minister is here.
I'll check on what's going on in Woodley Park.
What's the number? Could you give us a number right away?
Yes, 613-0816.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, listen to me. I have a grain seasoning facility, or pepper grain seasoning facility, the only grain seasoning facility in the country. And the business name, Nip It in the Bud One Guyana.
Yes, I'm gonna send somebody to check on this tomorrow, and I'll call you myself.
I need an investigation into my matter.
Yes.
Thank you very
I
much.
got you.
Bye-bye. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening. I live in Toronto, but I'm from Lenora, and I know the minister is doing a lot of work in Lenora. My concern is that you got a hospital, you got a new mall, but the market there, sir. And I know you're doing a lot of work in the market too. Gotta get those people off the road there, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. Is this the Freddie Gildarie show?
Yes, it is. Go right ahead.
Good evening to the minister and INDAR. Is it possible to give an update on a street in Rossignol by the name of Murphy Dam? It has been in a deplorable condition for the longest while. I've actually seen the bill of quantity over 3 months ago, and nothing has been done as yet on the street.
Murphy Dam.
Yeah,
Yes, Murphy Dam, Rossignol.
Ma'am, I'll check this. I will check this. And is this your number? On the show.
Yes, it is.
I'll call you, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 1 second. Don't go away yet. I think I have it. Well, 1 second. Okay. Don't go away yet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening. I wanted to congratulate the minister on this program. And I want to say this is a very good program. I'm really glad this way that this program has really been headed. It's a bit controversial and different from the rest of the program. My problem, though, that I do have is that there's so much social issues going on, and we know that the government may not be able to address. But there's intersection of people. You have vulnerable groups, like the key population, which are comprised of trans LGBT persons. And there's no place that really helps ministers or where you could really go to and get support from the government. Especially, like, for instance, when we had the flood and all these other things. Those things are really leave behind, even though that there's a preach that the one Guyana, which I endorse the one Guyana, but this doesn't trigger down to all the other vulnerable groups that make up Guyana as a whole.
But I'm not too sure that's the minister's portfolio.
No, but before that.
But
but I'm speaking general about the government. It's not just that this particular minister.
No, but I just wanted to know which vulnerable group you're speaking about, to be exact.
I'm speaking about LGBT groups.
The LGBT community?
Yes.
What's vulnerable about them?
So that's what I was asking.
When I said vulnerable, I mean there's no way that trans MSM, if you out there and known that you were able to go and get a job, being yourself as a trans woman and being employed, even though that we had a cross-dressing case.
I don't think this society.
And the highest court struck down, but there's no provision in the book, even if it's been struck out of Parliament, that we could be comfortable in our own skin and able to get a job in the government, in the streets and all these things, and able to sustain ourselves as a Guyanese citizen.
Madam, this country doesn't discriminate against people with different sexual orientation. They got people heading important institutions in this country that are not of heterosexual orientation. I don't. I've worked at university for 26 years, and some of the important people there were not were from the LGB thing. But there's also a private organization that gets a lot of funding from the Western embassies here. I can tell you, I have specific knowledge of that. There is a group, LGBT group called SASOD, and they get a substantial amount of money annually from the Western embassies. So maybe you can contact that group.
Yeah, but that group might be not able to employ people. It might be advocating for rights and such forth, human rights violation. But when it's
the minister, he's a minister of the government. He could talk about the
All right, I think you've raised a very important issue. I'm sure the minister will be listening. I'm sure that he'd be transferring what he would have heard to his colleague ministers as part of their policy making. It's a good platform to raise it. And I thank you very much for coming through.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Good evening, caller. You got to lower the volume of whatever you're listening to. Could you do that? Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much. Roads, bridges, airports, street lights. Let's talk about it. You have the opportunity.
Mr. Minister, I want to pinpoint a very, very patriotic person high in your ministry when it comes to road lights. I don't know his first name. I know his last name is Siram.
Oh.
That's an excellent guy.
Yeah.
All right. Caller, go ahead, caller. Good evening.
Hi. Good night. I'm just calling about the minister.
Yes.
Think about Ogle here, man. You hear the bridges, right? At the Ogle by the gas station. And every night and day, the trucks, I can't sleep in the night. I'm a businessman and I finish work and I come home. whole night the trucks is banging, bang, bang.
Well, I have the same problem. I live on the Wavy Embankment. But what you going to do?
They put in 10,000 house lot at the back of Diamond there, and that's 7th Avenue, and they're going through me street. You got to see what they do with it.
Minister, the vibrating is...
But it raises a point that I started when what I said at the start of the show, is that you have some problems that comes with development.
Yeah, it is.
The Ogle Road that he's talking about, from time to time...
This is Ogle Airport Road?
He's talking about the gas station.
It's the bridge before the airport road.
But the trucks go through there. They go to the back there because we're constructing the 7.7 kilometer highway.
No, Minister, we're talking on the public road. Last year they came and they do an alignment with the bridge and it was good. And afterwards, by the road gets sunken, then the trucks just keep buying.
So we gotta. So that's what I was getting at. I was getting at. So if the road is maintained, you wouldn't get that banging. The trucks will move. We gotta maintain the road. It's when you have a dip in the road and the truck fall and you hear that noise and they keep hitting bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So you gotta maintain the road whilst they're doing it. That's the issue.
All right, thank you very much for calling, Carlo. Bye-bye.
The gas station.
The gas station, yes. All right, the calls are coming in pretty quickly. Good evening, Carlo.
Good evening, sir. I like the program, I like what you guys are doing, but I have one problem where I observe some of the contractors. While the government is doing good things, building roads and streets and things, the same very contractor who are told not to use certain roads because it's freshly built or because of something else, or they cannot damage the infrastructure into a new housing scheme, they continue to use the easy way in instead of using the...
Which specific area, sir?
This is the Bakken Umbrella Enterprise Backway Housing.
Yeah, so we were there the other day with the Vice President and the Attorney General. Do you remember that? And the issue did come up and we are addressing it, right?
No, but it continued while some of the contractors, these are contractors...
I heard you, sir. I heard you and you made the complaint. Were you at the meeting that made the complaint?
No, I wasn't at the meeting, but I sent you a video.
Yeah, but there were a lot of people...
The same contractor. The rest of the contractor complying, But this particular contractor, you get some guys working with him. They soak in the road. When they soak in the road and people tell them, well, you know something, you cannot just pass with it, fly by like that, the dust gonna still fly. It become abusive to people.
Oh.
Understand? And that is not right.
Okay.
I personally went and I spoke to the guys them himself. I said, what you are doing is not right. But they continue the same way, and the rest of the contractor complying using the dams.
Yeah.
But this particular contractor, he continued to use, and the road that he uses is the only main road to come into the new scheme at the back end.
Yeah, I know. I was in there the other day.
And if there's damage, right?
I know of the problem, sir. I know of this problem. Right, we'll continue to work with these people, but at the same time, everybody asking for house lots too.
The next set of contractors, they are very nice people.
Sir, as I said to you, this report came with a visit to the community. We went there and a number of people raised this issue. Because this is the reason why the front street in Nonpareil along there between Enterprise and break up.
No, I'm talking about front street. You get the Enterprise.
No, I'm saying to you, as a result of the trucks moving, they break up the street because the people in the community told us that too.
No, the street didn't break up because it is content.
No. The minister is saying to you that he has heard your complaint.
And other people give the same complaint.
Right.
We're looking into it.
So he's addressing it.
We'll deal with it.
I myself through the street, the people said, INDAR they're building road, and they got to fix the road. We just using the road. They said it. They can't use it. All right, later. Thank you. Bye.
All right,
Good evening, caller. Sorry, I had to disrespect the minister like that.
Oh.
Yes,
go right.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, ma'am.
Good evening. Good night, everyone. I want to move away a little bit from the road. I want to speak about these nice pavements like along Vicinjon Road, the Lamaha Street, all these avenues that they're they're paving, which is looking very pretty and nice. But I have a problem because, I mean, don't mind what day you go down into town, the garbage there. Isn't there somebody, some contractor to pick up garbage along these nice paved avenues and so per week? And the bins are overflowing.
Ma'am, I wish, as a minister, that I had the answers for you. But we in this government, led by the president himself, had 5. I'm the chairman of the National Enhancement Committee, which is a committee that deals with a whole host of agencies that deal with picking up of the garbage. And we had 5 of these things, and you pick up the garbage, and the next day you go and people throw back garbage.
I know.
Well, and these places that we've developed, like the railway embankment, the public works have been doing it. I mean, the president lead these initiatives and
hire a small
with the team.
You all have.
They're nasty the place all the time too. So I agree with you. We have a problem, but this is not a government problem. This is everybody in the country problem. Look, we just finished the Springlands area. I saw a video. They break persons who go use the place are breaking it up. They got one in La Jealousy through the Forest Lady office that we built down there. Nice place.
Windsor Forest, La Jealousy, yeah.
Right? The lights, they break up the lights. You know, we have
some lights by
New Amsterdam, the same thing.
I know what you're saying. And
we got a bunch of dirty people in this country.
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna do that. But because I'm a representative of the people, but I also would say that when we build these infrastructure, these are supposed to be meant for everybody, and it doesn't give no one the right to go break it up.
Garbage is a city council mandate too.
And the same thing with the garbage. Everybody, throw the garbage.
Those business people downtown, they throw their garbage at the side of the road.
Clear up the country, clear up the place, and garbage again.
Yeah,
everybody have the responsibility to dispose in their own garbage.
Okay.
It shouldn't be my responsibility to go clean your garbage, and we did that as a government. Ministers, the president, vice president, prime minister, everybody all over the place cleaning garbage.
Okay, thank you very much for coming through, ma'am. There's a caller. Good evening, caller.
Good night.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually a security guy at Ogo. For the airport, the main road from into the airport, it's in terrible shape. And I think they need to look at the heavy load, those trucks that are coming in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no parapet and so on, everything is broken up and heavy mud.
It's gonna be difficult, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know if when they're looking to actually do this road because it's heavy traffic.
This is the current road. Sorry, you're talking about that is being bombarded with the trucks that are going to the new highway that we're building there.
Yeah, she said the road leading to the airport.
The airport road that comes in.
Okay, but you said something about mud.
Yeah, because there is no road shoulder. The road don't have shoulder because they truck them when like two trying to pass. One would be off the road completely with the weight. Some are stuck and they have to be pulled out.
Yeah, so let me tell you, this matter was raised before by residents in the community. We've called in the contractor and we told them that if you're going to break the road, you got to fix the road. Because the road was maintained by Public Works. We normally keep it because it's going to the airport. And a lot of people see that road for us and the first time they come in the country and when they leave too, especially those using that airport. So the contractor have to continue to maintain that road because it's the trucks that are causing the damage to the road. And we have told the contractor, we have actually written them on that too. We got to enforce it a little more because it's constantly truck moving through there, and the large ones too. So I know of this problem.
That's what I'm saying. So probably
but you can't go build a shoulder. The problem, if you go put a shoulder there, the problem is that the weight is simply because of the weight of the trucks going on the road.
And I
The
think,
shoulder would solve the problem there, sir.
I think the problem that you have, do you stop the development or what do you do? Because you have to do it.
So
Where
that's
do
the
you
thing.
put them?
So the highway is meant to be a major bypass of traffic going into Georgetown. So take them straight to Eccles area. People who are going to the airport to go into Region 3 and so on. It's development, but development, as I said, it comes with these problems.
Some inconveniences.
But the problem is that if the contractor is destroying the road, they got to fix it. And we got to make sure that happens.
Thank you very much for coming through, Carlo.
So do you have a contractor assigned to the road?
The contractor that is building the main road is overseas contractor. The main road and the trucks that are going there taking sand to do the sand filling of the road.
I don't know. All I know, it's really a problem, and like for low vehicles and so, it's a real problem.
Yeah, I know, because they're getting some bulges on the road. I saw it a couple days ago.
Thank you very much, Carlo. Very good point. Bye-bye. And Minister, before I take this next call, somewhere in your closing, because we have a few minutes more, I would like to know whether you're having any progress having contractors listen to the government, especially when they do screwy things in contravention to the contracts.
So, you want me to answer that now?
Please,
okay,
if you
good.
can.
So, every contractor that is employed by the government, they have to follow the contractual terms that is in the contract. How to build the road, the width of the road, how much sand to put, how much loam to put, how much asphalt to put, everything, the gradient of the road, they got the length, they have to make sure they put it. The compaction tests have to be done at every level, right? If persons are not doing that, engineers are not doing that, well, then they're shortchanging the government. They're shortchanging their position as an engineer. If the contractors know very well they're supposed to do 4-inch sand, 4-inch loam, and 2-inch asphalt, and they decide to make this their own business and do skullduggery here, they have what we call the cross-section test, the boreholes, that they'll normally do after the road is done. And they will do the measured works.
What about inconvenience to citizens?
So normally when you have a contractor, the government and the engineers and so ministers and so normally go to a community. But you got every community having road, you can practically go out to. But you're supposed to go and talk to the community to say, we're doing this road, so and so and so. You know, and talk to the community, because roads, as I said the last time on this program, they are meant to be a good thing. It can't turn out to be bad. And I've seen a lot of situation where the contractor and the residents end up in, they cross-thread because of various things, either culvert, some size. So you just got to go in and deal with them. If person do work that is substandard or they're not doing it in the timing that is supposed to do it, there are things in the contract, liquidated damages. You can charge them. You can terminate the contract. Right. And some contractors even, they end up getting blacklisted if they do work that is knowingly that they should not do, end up doing, and causing, problems for the community and the government too. So all of those things are tools that you have to deal with them.
But I think one of the things that you didn't say, Minister, which I think people need to understand, is that when you're doing a substantial increase in the number of infrastructural projects, it comes along, one, with a shortage of contractors, and two, with headache, especially you talked about it earlier, you have a shortage of engineers and clerk of works across the country. So those are compounding problems. I guess we could take very quick calls. Good evening, Carlo.
Good evening. Hi. I just would like to identify this one road in King Road. It was awarded actually a year and a half to a contractor. I don't know his name, but that road is situated just behind the Virginia Primary School, and it's been standing there for a while. They get out, they stand fill it, and that's it. A year and a half it's still standing.
Virginia Primary School. I gotta check this one to see if, because they didn't do the work, if it was terminated and.
Why I call him, because my brother-in-law is living there, and he uses a wheelchair, and it's not in the really condition he can get out.
Can I don't know if you would like to give a number so I can maybe call.
Yes, 257-0358 or 639-6658.
629?
639.
639-6658. 258 or 257.
Thank you. I'll check on this here tomorrow for you. Right?
Is Grove?
No, Cane Grove.
Cane Grove.
Just behind.
That's behind Mahika.
No, I know the place. We did the main access road and so with some community roads and so, but we had to check what's going on behind.
Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening.
Lower your volume.
Hello.
Hi, am I onto the show?
Yeah, but you gotta lower whatever you're listening to. We're not hearing you clear.
Let me check it out.
But you gotta come quickly. We're out of time. You have to hurry. Hello. Very quickly, lost that call there. Good evening, caller. Hello. I don't think they're ready. We're out of time. My apologies. You guys coming through, you got to get ready. Minister, I want to say, your closing remarks and then Freddie. I think Freddie was quiet tonight.
Well, tonight...
It's Minister's Night.
So tonight we dealt with a particular area with roads and bridges and, other things. But the Ministry of Public Works is, there's a lot of other areas that we look after: the aviation, the aviation sector, the harbour bridge, transport and harbours, MARAD, all of the ferries and so on, the road lighting, CD fences, and I also have added responsibility in the office of the Prime Minister where I deal with the daily management of like GPL and GEA, hinterland electrification and so. We also deal with the hinterland roads, them and so airstrips and so. So it's a big ministry. So there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of projects to manage. So the community roads program is one of the biggest because of the number of roads that you're doing in various communities. So you do get from time to time, you get issues, but the main thing is when you get the issues, what do you do with them? So for the person that called in tonight, definitely check on them, and for those that I got numbers for, we'll call them and so on to make sure that we see what's going on with some of them, right?
Absolutely.
Some of them I could have give a response right away. Some of them I have to check to see what's going on because I don't know if it's within my ministry or another ministry too is dealing with the project too. So we gotta check on that. But some things that we might not agree on all the time with the widening of the road, and a lot of people are asking for, some people want 6-inch concrete thick on some of the concrete roads you're building so that big trucks can drive or haulers can drive. You can't, some things you might not be able to agree on for community roads that pass through small communities where people have their houses and so on and live with their family in a quiet life. On the highways and so, we continue to build them out, but those, because they are highways and they're going through what we call greenfield projects through virgin lands and so, the earthworks is massive, meaning the sand that you have to put to make sure that you get a good
compact, right,
get a good base for the road. That particular project, they put in the wick drains so that they can bring up the moisture so that the road won't be wavy at the top when they finish with it. They have a solid base. Those projects that you're doing in the housing sector, so to build the earthworks is be a lot. So movement of sand trucks and so is something that when you build another country, it's a must. It will happen. It's how you manage it, how you try to minimize the negative impact of trucks moving through communities, breaking roads and so. So you have to juggle all these variables. At the same time, delivering, on promises that you made, delivering house lots to people that thousands upon thousands, but 60,000 plus people must have house lot application right now. How do you get that? You're going to build the schemes. So you're going to inconvenience a couple of people, some communities, but you have to deliver housing for people too. Highways. A lot of people don't want to be in traffic jam. You got to build the highways, right? And the highways open up all sorts of lands and so. So the country is being developed. And there are some inconveniences, but we have to manage as much as we can to minimize that impact. And I think that some of the persons calling, and tonight calls were more limited to roads and so on. So we get to concentrate on those. But, there are more that is happening across the country. So
thank you, Freddie.
I want to end my participation in the program on a romantic note.
Oh my goodness.
I have very fond memories of my wife and I walking on the pedestrian part of the Harbour Bridge. We used to do that quite often, and then look at the river. The new Harbour Bridge will have that part that you can walk.
You can have your young days back again.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, sure. I relived my young days with my wife. We used to go walking in the Harbour Bridge all the time. Minister, thanks for coming here. It was quite
Folks, I always dreamed of having our politicians connected with the people, and I know the government has been working in a lot of the village communities across the country. I have a president, Associate landing from a plane, he gone, which is something that I like. But it is good when we see our politicians, our leaders, our ministers connecting with the people and not afraid, because it's not easy sitting here. So you never know what's going to come through the phone. But he has, I myself forgot. I used to cover the Ministry of Public Works when I was working at Kaiser News. And it's always a very big ministry, big developments happening here. And it's good to have our government listening to the people and sitting down, and sometimes things are going to go haywire. But Minister, I want to say thank you very much on behalf of myself and Freddie Kissoon. I want to see more of this, and I'm sure that the people who've called in, they have their concerns, and rightfully so. They expect the government, they have a lot of expectations of the government. So wherever you are, folks, we're going to be back with you. This is not the end of it. We're going to try to get more ministers. I'm sure that Minister DEODAT INDAR, minister within the Ministry of Public Works, is going to be happy to come back again. It's a lot of work, but it is what they have to do, and we expect lots from them. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, we're going to be back with you on Wednesday. This is Leonard Gildarie and Freddie Kissoon saying goodbye, and Minister DEODAT INDAR saying goodbye to you as well.
Thank you.